Welcome to G4X, my fellow gaming friends. Today I'm going to show you the Hori Tough Pouch for the Nintendo Switch. I've had this thing for a couple of weeks now and I wanted to kind of get a feel for it, get an idea of what's wrong with it, what's right with it, and just sort of give you guys a bit of a review really. So when you get it, it basically comes like this with this piece of card. That's the only sort of packaging you get. I'll just take that off if I can. There we go. And you can see it just basically tells you what each of these parts is for. So in this section you can put basically, I don't know what they're called, I'll just grab one now. These rails that you put on the top of the Joy-Con, and then you can put your games, and it has a flap that comes down over the top of your screen and stops it from getting scratched. Then on the other side just says the colour, so I assume they're going to do other colours in the future. And that's it really. So let's get into the actual thing. Now, the first thing I can tell you about this is it doesn't look the way it does in the pictures. It looks the way you can see it on the screen. Let me just brighten the screen up a little bit. There you go. Now you can see it a little bit better. You can see the details. So it actually feels really nice. It's dead smooth. It has that kind of really good quality feel. Kind of the way that really, really nice leather does, but a little bit nicer because it's synthetic. Obviously you've got the logo there and these dimples. I have no idea what these dimples are for. Maybe it's for impact resistance. You've got two zips, and then the back is just nice and flat and smooth, and it feels quite firm, which as it should do, obviously. Let's have a look inside. Okay, I need to brighten my screen up even more now. Okay, so it might be a little bit grainy because I've had to turn the ISO up on the camera, but you can see inside you have this flap, which is dead soft. It's screen friendly, as it were, so it won't scratch the screen when your console's in there. We'll just pop the console in. There we go. So the console's in now, and you see the screen, this flap comes down, and it's nice and smooth on the screen. My screen's actually got a tempered glass screen protector on it, in case you're wondering why it looks slightly different. And then if you look inside, you can see all your games go into there. And this section, I presume, and it says it's for accessories, I presume it's for these rails. And I put the rails in like this. I'll show you how I've done it. I put them in this angle instead of face down like that. I put them in sideways so that it's not as thick. It doesn't like give this big meaty top area. And if you fold those in, you can obviously put your games in there and then close the actual case. Now if I zip up the case, you'll be able to see, hopefully, it kind of bulges slightly there. And you wouldn't think that that's an issue whatsoever, and it would be natural because obviously you've got stuff in there. But here's one, I would say, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's an issue, but here's something I've discovered, let's say. Now, when you look at your console, if you look at it sideways, let's do it from here. See how it's thicker there, but then thinner here? So what you get is this kind of, let me just focus on that. You get this kind of situation where you've got a gap here in between, which means it's kind of at an angle, and then this pad is pushing down on the screen. So imagine, and let's refocus. So you have to imagine that if this pad is pushing down on the screen with the bulk behind it, then the Joy-Con, if you look at it sort of that way, it's pushing down and the Joy-Cons are kind of getting pushed like that. And I found that, and you probably can't see this, there's just ever so slight wiggle between my Joy-Con and the actual screen now. And I don't know if that's actually from using this case a lot with these in, pushing the screen down, or whether that's just naturally happened with the console itself through use. Obviously you wouldn't expect that to happen through use with this console after just a few weeks, and I guess if you take off the Joy-Con, you can always just screw the little screws on the rail there to tighten it up. But that is a bit of a concern with this case. That's the only concern I have. It's actually really, really nice. It's a really nice case. It comes together really well. I'm going to take those out because I am a little bit worried about that issue now. It looks good. It feels really, really nice. And it fits your console really well. And it protects your screen. Overall, I would say, and I've been using this case for, well, about, like I say, about 2 weeks. It's a gorgeous feeling case. It's a gorgeous looking case. It has a really high quality feel to it. Everyone who's picked my Switch up in this case wants this case with it, thinks it's great. I don't really understand these dimples. Perhaps it would look better with them or without them. I don't know. That's up to you. But there is that one concern about the screen getting pushed down. So if you were to buy this case, I would be careful with storing these in it. Perhaps store them in a better way than I have, or maybe just don't store them in there at all. But then again, that's kind of against the whole principle of having this case, right? I mean, you want to put everything in there so that you can take it all with you in one go and not have to carry things separately. So if I had to give it a score, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. That 1 point being missing because of that issue that, again, I'm not 100% sure that is caused by this case, but my feeling is that slight wiggle on the Joy-Cons at the side, my feeling is it's because it's been pushing down on it constantly and the Joy-Cons are kind of pushing up in the corners, but the screen's pushing down in the middle. That's just my feeling. As a product, I think it's a brilliant product, but again, just be aware of that little issue. And hopefully this has been helpful for you guys who maybe want to buy this thing.